Chromium, an alloying elements used principally to produce stainless steel. Zinc, a coating material used to produce galvanized iron. Module, ratio of pitch diameter to the number of teeth. Strength, the ability of metal to withstand loads without breaking down. Lubrication, fluid film desired between two surfaces having relatively sliding motion. Stress, a total resistance that a material offers to an applied load. Shear strength, the ability of metal to withstand forces thus following a number of twists. Carbon, ferrous metals, contains relatively large amount of compressive strength, the ability of material or metal to resist being crushed is. Quenching, the operation of cooling heated piece of work rapidly by dropping it in water, brine or oil. Resilience, it is the ability of a material to absorb energy when deformed elastically and to return it when unloaded. Zinc, galvanized iron is a term referring to iron coated with bulk modulus, the ratio of the volumetric stress to volumetric strain. Nickel, a white metal, almost as bright as silver and is malleable and ductile and can be welded. Annealing, heating above the transformation range, usually 1300 F to 1350 F, and cooling slowly to soften the metal and increase in machining. Hardening, heating above the transformation temperature and quenching usually in oil for the purpose of increasing hardness. Tempering, reheating to a temperature below the transformation range, followed by any desired rate of cooling to attain the desired properties of the mass. Stress relieving, heating to a subcritical temperature, about 1100 F to 1300 F and holding at that temperature for a suitable time for the purpose of reducing internal residual stresses. Normalizing, heating to some 100 F above the transformation range with subsequent cooling to below that range in still air at room temperature to produce uniform structure of the metal. Drilling machine, a machine tool used for producing holes in metal by the use of a cutting tool called drill. Milling machine, a machine tool used to form metal parts by removing metal from a workpiece by the use of a revolving cutter with many teeth, each tooth having a cutting edge which removes its share of the stock. Tool grinder, a machine tool used to sharpen or shape tools by using an abrasive wheel. Boring machine, a machine tool used to enlarge a hole by means of an adjustable cutting tool with only one cutting edge. Power saw, a machine tool used to cut metal parts of light, medium, and large sections using reciprocating hacksaw blade. Shaper, a machine tool used to machine flat or plane surfaces with a single point cutting tool. Planer, a machine tool used for production of flat surfaces on pieces too large or too heavy to hold in a shaper. Broaching machine, a machine tool used to finish internal or external surfaces, such as holes or keyways, by the use of cutter called a broach, which has a series of cutting edges or teeth. Bronze, an alloy of copper and tin. Brass, an alloy of copper and zinc. Rolling, the process of forming metal parts by the use of dies after the metal is heated to its plastic range. Forging, the process of forming a metal parts by the use of a powerful pressure from a hammer or press to obtain the desired shape, after the metal has been heated to its plastic range. SAE 1320, a manganese steel containing approximately 0.2% carbon. Lathe machine, a metal turning machine tool in which the work, while revolving on a horizontal axis, is acted upon by cutting tool which is made to move slowly, feed, in direction more or less parallel to the axis of the work, longitudinal feed. Caliper, a tool used in measuring diameters. Grinding, it consists of shaping a piece by bringing it into contact with a rotating abrasive wheel. Plasticity, the ability to be deformed considerably without rupture. Laying out, the shop term used to include the marking inscribing of center points, circles, arcs, or straight lines upon metal surface, either curved or flat, for the guidance of the worker. Reaming, an operation of sizing and finishing a hole by means of a cutting tool having several cutting edges. Countersinking, the operation of making a cone-shaped enlargement of the end of a hole, as for a recess for a flat screw. Pitch circle, an imaginary circle passing through the points at which the teeth of the meshing gears contact each other. Carriage bolt, a type of bolt intended for use in bolting wooden parts together or wood to metal. It has a short portion of shank just underneath a round head, which is designed to keep the bolt from turning in the wood when the nut is tightened. Diametral pitch, the number of teeth per inch of pitch diameter and which gives some indications of the size of the gear teeth. Circular pitch, the distance from the center of one tooth of a gear to the center of the next consecutive tooth measured on the pitch. Addendum, the portion of a gear tooth that projects above or outside the pitch circle. Dedendum, the portion of the gear tooth space that is cut below the pitch circle and is equal to the addendum plus clearance. Gear rack, when meshed with a gear, it is used to change rotary motion to reciprocating motion. Worm gears, a kind of gears used for heavy-duty works where a large ratio of speed is required and are extensively used in reducers. Bevel gears, a kind of gears used to transmit motion from one shaft to another shaft at an angle to the first. Tolerance, the total permissible variation in the size of a dimension, the difference the limits of size. Abrasive, a material that can wear away a substance softer than itself. Squaring, the operation of machining the end of a workpiece to make the end square with the axis. Stud bolts, a kind of bolt which has no head and instead has threads on both ends. Cold heading, steel balls for ball bearings are manufactured by headstock and a lathe. It comprises the main spindle, the necessary mechanism for obtaining the various spindle speed and also certain gears which are used to operate the quick change gear mechanism.